Well, hey y'all, we're back. I'm wearing a birthday shirt that my sister gave me. I don't play pickleball, but there it is. Today we are going to do Simple Southern Savories. Try to say that 3 times fast. We are making a hospitality tea punch that is very refreshing, and you can drink it warm or cold depending on if you want to put the ginger ale in it. We're making these delicious blue cheese and jam coins, and we filled ours with an apricot and a 4-berry spread, and there's a little bit of cayenne to them, so if you're blue cheese lovers, you're going to like these. And then lastly, instead of sausage balls, we're going to do us a ham ball, and it's got chopped ham, and it's got cheese and a little green onion in it and Bisquick, and these are real good, and they'll be great for brunch. So join me today as we make some simple Southern savories for you to entertain your favorite friends. Well, we are here to make a hospitality tea punch. Now, this makes anywhere from 1.5 to 2 gallons, so you can half this recipe, but it's good for a big party or a summer wedding when it's hot, because it's got lots of fruit juices in it. And if you wanted to, you could probably in your own home add a little Tito's and have you a little refresher at 5 o'clock every afternoon. This will keep in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks. I've already steeped 15 family-sized tea bags in 2 quarts of water, and they've steeped, and I'm going to add 2 cups of granulated sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of stir that in to help it dissolve, and the fruit juices will help this break down and dissolve as well. And you see I'm making this in a large bowl, and this is a stainless steel. It is not aluminum. If you were to make this in an aluminum bowl, and I have a huge one, the acids from these juices are going to give you a greenish hue because the acids are going to react with that aluminum. So do it in stainless steel or glass or a big plastic container that you can mix the punch in. All right, we're going to have to add 2 more quarts of cold water. So basically what we have now is sweet tea. And I love this type Pyrex. They're not always easy to find. I've had it a long time. But this one will go up to 8 cups, which is 2 quarts. And then it'll also, down here, will make you 1 quart. Now we're going to put in 2 cups of lemon juice. This is really good when it gets cold. And if you serve it, it's not a pretty colored punch. I've got a silver pitcher that's already being chilled with ice. I've got some ice in it. And it's pretty served in a non-clear container. All right, so we have our lemon juice. Now we're going to add 1 quart of orange juice and 2 quarts of cranberry. So we're going to measure this up to the 4 cup, which is 32 ounces or 1 quart. I'm going to pour that in. And y'all, isn't this the funniest thing? When I decided to call this Simply Southern Savories, how about that? We've got Simply Orange. Okay. All right, now we get into the 2 quarts of cranberry juice. That's going to be this whole thing full up to the 8 cup line, which is pretty much going to be this whole bottle. Math was not my subject in school. I liked English and history better. So that is our 2 quarts of cranberry. Now, that's everything but the ginger ale, and you're going to put in 1 quart of ginger ale. But I'm going to give this another good stir, and you can see it's not an unattractive color, and you could put a little more red food coloring to kind of burgundy it up a little bit more. It smells really good. That orange juice is this is great orange juice. It's got an orange zest flavor to it that's really intense. And so I'm going to pour in the ginger ale. And this you wouldn't do until you were ready to serve it. But because I'm thirsty, I'm going to put it on in there. And then I'm going to get our iced, see how the ice and water tastes so good out of a silver glass or poured from a silver pitcher. I think it's a psychological purification of the water coming out of a silver vessel. But I'm going to use our little measuring cup and pour some over this ice. And I'm not going to wait. I'll drink some more at the end, but I'm thirsty and got my little magnolia glass that somebody gave me. I'm going to pour some in there. Y'all, that is so good, and it's not sweet. You can taste the lemon, all the orange juice, the cranberry, and like I said, a splash of your favorite afternoon beverage would just make a great little alcoholic punch for a party. And again, and you can freeze it. After you make this, you can put it in containers and put it in the freezer, and then you can just take it out a day or two before your event and let it thaw, and then add your ginger ale. We'll be back in just a few minutes with something else good to make. All right, y'all. Now we're going to make ham balls. And I've got my cookbook set up, so I'm sure that I've got my ingredients that I need. I can't do this one from just knowing it. And one of my staff, I'm not going to touch it because this cookbook's got a mind of its own on this stand. But I said, we need something to hold this book open. And she said, will this work? So we took a pair of the little cocktail tongs and I squeezed them a little bit tighter and it slides right over that. And that's a clever little bookmark opening page marker thing. All right, first we're going to start by grating some cheddar cheese. These ham balls are really good, and they have Parmesan cheese, and it's not the kind in the green can. You can buy the freshly grated Parmesan over in the section with the specialty cheeses of the grocery store. And this cheese that I'm using now is sharp cheddar, and it's at room temperature. And it'll mix into the dough better, even if it does not want to cooperate. Look at that, I'm telling you. But we're going to make it work, y'all. It's not a perfect whirl. Maybe if I lean my grater back. There we go. I usually do this on a cutting board, but I thought I could dump all this cheese in this mixing bowl better from another little bowl. And I've already finely chopped my ham. Now you can use any kind of ham. I wouldn't get that square boiled ham. I would get some of that Kentucky Legend. There's a couple of brands that are pre-sliced that you could put in little biscuits where you just cut that in chunks and put that in your food processor and you get a nice good ground up ham, and that'll make the balls a lot smoother and they'll shape better and easier. So we're going to little cookbook. We're going to put our cheese in. Let's get all that out of there. There it goes. I don't think I ever do a thing with cheese in the mixing bowl that some of it doesn't fly. We're going to put in our half a cup of grated Parmesan. We've got our chopped ham that's going in. Then we have 2/3 cup of milk, or half and half. That goes in. Then we have 3 cups of Bisquick or a baking mix. I'm going to put that in there. Okay. Then I'm going to put on the paddle attachment. We got some new ones in recently. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to lock it. I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to start it on just kind of an easy pulse so that we don't send that bacon mix all over everything. And once it starts to incorporate, we can let that kind of go on the stir mode and it won't be so wild. Then we're going to put in our chopped parsley. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of golden spicy brown mustard. And if you want to put more, or if you've got a favorite honey mustard or a champagne mustard, you can add that too. The main thing is you just need that little bit of zip from this mustard. All right, now I'm going to move our cookbook out of the way. And our mixture has come together into a nice mass. I'm going to open this up. Look how well that went together. That cheese, being at room temperature, really makes a nice dough. And these will freeze well after you've baked them. And they make a nice party food. And they also are great to put in little bags and give as a gift. Now I'm going to slide this down. And we're going to unlock it. Okay, move that out. We're going to come down here. And we're going to start shaping this into small balls. And you want them about the size of a small walnut or the size of a, not quite a ping pong ball, but you want them about like that. And you can make them whatever size you want. And they'll puff up a little bit because of the biscuit mix. And I'm not going to roll this whole pan full. And you can put them fairly close together. And they'll bake at 350 for about 15 minutes. I do them for about 10 and then turn them. And then I'll do them for a few more minutes, maybe 5 or 6 more minutes until they're lightly golden and puffed. And I'm going to keep working on these and get a pan ready to go in the oven. And when we come back, I'm going to do those delicious and dainty blue cheese and jam coins. So stay with me. Y'all, I'm kind of blue. Actually, I'm blue cheese because we're making blue cheese coins and with jam in the middle. And we're going, this is so fast and easy. And the hardest part is sitting down and rolling them out and making the little dimple. So we're going to start with a stick of softened room temperature butter. And you want butter, you don't want margarine in this one. And then we have 2 4-ounce containers, which is 8 ounces of crumbled blue cheese. Of course, there I go, dropping. And then we've got 2 tablespoons of finely chopped green onions. And we've got our poppy seeds, 2 to 3 tablespoons. And we're going to do a little bit of dash of cayenne pepper. That's one of my dashes. And then we've got our plain all-purpose flour. Now, I'm going to reach over and get a paddle. By magic, I'm going to get a paddle. There's the paddle. And we're going to start this again. I'm going to lock it. And we're going to start it on little pulses so that flour. And then we can just let it be on stir for just a few minutes. Now, you can use any type of jam or preserves that you would like. I got this really nice apricot fruit spread that'll be good with this. And then they also make a 4 fruit spread, which has got the raspberries, cherries, strawberries, and blackberries in it. All right, now our mixture is come together, so we'll turn it off. We'll lift it up, and this blue cheese smells so good. And these are pretty too. They look really pretty in a dish by a bar if you're having a cocktail party, or even on a nice tray on your buffet table. I'm going to move our mixer out of the way. And another word, you can buy this parchment paper. I actually got this on Amazon, and it comes in different small packs, but they have it for this size pan. And you don't have to spray this, and it will save you cleanup later. So if you do a lot of baking, whether you're doing cookies or little appetizer type things, go ahead and invest in a pack of this half sheet parchment paper, and you'll be glad that you won't have things stick and you won't have a mess to clean up. So we've got our dough. It's going to scrape down the sides. And again, this is a recipe if you've got somebody that likes to cook or a young person, and you roll it in a ball, slightly smaller than the ones we did for the hand balls, maybe about the circumference of a nickel, I guess. And then you're going to take your pinky and gently press. All right, now mine that's not quite perfect. So you take your fingers, and it'll take a minute to get this technique. But when you spin it like that, you get a smooth edge and you've got a good little indentation. Let's do a few more, because I need to show you about how much jam to put in them. So we're going to do it again. We're going to push our little pinky down in there. And that one did better. See how much better that did, y'all? Lord, they look like poppy seed donuts, don't they? When I bite into it, it's not going to be a donut. I can promise you that blue cheese is going to open your eyes up. All right, press it again. And the young people will like doing that, putting their little finger down in there. So let's do a few more real quick. These are a lot of fun to have. And once you start making them, you'll get a feel for how to handle the dough and how much you need. All right, now I've got 4. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do 2 with this and 2 with this, and then I'll not bore y'all with while I finish all the rest of them off, because it does take a little time. And the apricot spread is very, very smooth, and you do not want but just a little bit, probably I'd say even 1/4 of a teaspoon, and you just kind of put it in there. And if you do your spoon that way, you'll get a nice flat. Put your tip of your spoon over the cavity and fill it, and you get that nice little. So we're going to set the apricot aside, and we're going to get some of this 4-fruit spread. Sometimes you're going to get a piece of cherry, and I save my lid, and that big old piece of cherry will not fit in that, so I'm going to put it over there, because Lord, there's another one. All right, so you just kind of have to go through, and you could do grape jelly, you could do strawberry, but we put that in there, you put your spoon and drag it across. Again, you don't take much, and you just do it like that, and it fills that cavity. And the reason you don't want to overfill them is because when these start to puff a little bit, it's going to want to push that jam over the edge, and it'll kind of run over the edge, and they're not very pretty and attractive. Now, there is a little bit of jelly on the top of these, but you know what? That's going to help it brown. Just like you would put an egg wash on something, the sugar in that jam is going to help that make a good golden color. So I'm going to finish these and get them in the oven. And when we come back, we'll get to taste everything. So join me in a few minutes. Y'all, we have had the best time today working on our simple Southern savories. We've got a sweet little pretty little setup from the green candles to our little monkey napkins that have that tropical green in there. We've got our blue cheese coins. And I'm going to try one that we ended up filling with the apricot jam. And this is how pretty the four fruit spread did. I'm going to take a little bite of this. The blue cheese is very subtle. It's a sharp aftertaste of the blue cheese with a little slow burn of the cayenne pepper. And all of it just kind of mixes that sweet from that jam with that sharp cheese. It's just a good little snack. And then our ham balls that have the cheddar cheese and the Parmesan, they are really good. And you get such a good flavor from that finely diced ham and that sharp cheddar cheese. That sharp cheddar cheese is a must. You can't use mild. You're not going to get that richness you need from that. And of course, the hospitality tea punch. And grow yourself a little pot of mint. Don't put it in the yard because it will take over. It's the first cousin to kudzu. But it sets off the yellow in your lemon, and it smells good. But it also lets your guests know you took a little extra time to care about adding that touch of mint. So from Sweet Azalea, our kitchen to yours, cook what you love and love what you cook. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining.